The only album that I did kind of unofficially release by myself was a VGM album. I solely released through Bandcamp. It was just like it's just like a compilation of like my first bunch of VGM covers. But what I am actually planning to do is that I even tested the grounds recently with a couple singles. I'm probably going to be re-releasing all of the licensable tracks as a bigger album through like Spotify and iTunes officially, so that I can have those, so all the right royalties can be paid to the official composers there, because that's the kind of gray area that you have to deal with if you're doing VGM covers. If you decide to, if you're just starting out and you decide to do covers, the thing that you have to realize is that releasing an unlicensable video game song is actually illegal. But you'll find that there's a lot of video game composers out there that encourage covers at the same time. So
yeah, it's kind of similar to just using gameplay in YouTube videos in general, right? The whole debacle of like, it is created by someone else, but I'm using it to create something else. So at what point is it transformative? Do you find that, like, in your music experience, do you find that you've run into more problems with things outside it, like licensing outside of video games, or do you think you run into more problems with video games specifically?
I would say video games more specifically, because it gets really strange when it comes to licensing for video games, especially because there's a lot of video game creators and developers that come from different countries, so there's different laws in those different countries, right? So that's where it gets really complicated.
And I guess like a lot of mainstream artists, they will have music and then they'll have the record label, and that's two entities you deal with. But with video games, you have the composer, but that's all published for a specific game, which is owned by a specific publisher and whatnot.
Right.
So I can imagine just the licensing gets crazy, especially when so many songs or so many pieces in video games are remixes or covers of previous pieces in the series or whatnot. So I can imagine it's just an entire minefield of things you have to jump through in order to get it like fully legit and licensed and whatnot. So you said you're planning on re-releasing some as full licensed in like an album. That's kind of like something you want to work towards.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly just to finally get my music out there on digital platforms, but also to do the right thing and make sure the right people are paid. Sure.
Because those composers make amazing pieces. You definitely don't do it from ill will to do covers.
Yeah.
Of it.
That's why, like, even with the VGM album that I did put out there, I put it out there for free, like, because I didn't want to put something out that I didn't create myself or compose myself and make money from it, right? So
right. Yeah,
but even then, it's just I still want to do the right thing there. But it's also making me think about my involvement with creating other VGM music for other albums as well. Because speaking of albums, like, I have appeared on multiple compilation albums, specifically by Gamelark Records. I was in a couple. So I was on a Sonic themed album called Supersonic by Gamelark. So I had a Sonic R song on there, and I also did a Mog's Mixtape, which was a Final Fantasy album. I also have a song on that.
Hey there. You just watched a clip from my creative podcast. If you'd like to check out the full episode, you can support me over on Patreon, and if not, you can subscribe to check out more clips coming here soon.